I'm Liz Busquets, and I think the first order of business is to have the board introduce themselves. Also here are Ray Fryer, our business manager, and also Gala, our executive secretary, are also present. So officially, I will announce the election results. And as I'm sure that you're all aware of, Carol Gergen is the incoming new director. Denise and I were reelected. Thank you so much for the honor. Um, our outgoing director is Rachel Vest, who I can't say enough about all the work that she has done for ASCA during the time that she has been a director. I just can't say enough, and I'm sure that she'll enjoy the time off from the board, but we'll miss having her here. Um, so I'm going to allow everybody to introduce themselves. So Carol, are you here?
Okay, yes, I am.
Hey,
can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can see you too.
Oh, yay. So I'm newly elected to the board, and I want to thank everybody for their confidence in electing me. And I look forward to serving with everyone in the upcoming year. And I am open to communication from the membership. So I think that's all I have to say for now. But it's nice to be here.
All right. Denise?
Hi, I'm Denise Creelman from California. Good to see everybody, especially Calla, who's is going to help me. Welcome everybody that is at the meeting. We're glad that you're here, and I'm sure we'll have a successful meeting. Thanks so much.
All right. Gina?
Hi, everyone. This is Gina Larson from Greenleaf, Idaho, and it's great to see everybody here. Thank you.
All right. Jan?
Hi, this is Jan Wiesen. I'm from Bow, Washington, and look forward to this next year being bigger and better. And you can always contact me via phone or email. Thanks.
All right. Jean?
This is Jean. I'm out here in Jean Roberts. I'm out here in California, and well, I'm glad that everybody was able to join us today. I think this is going to be a great meeting. Thanks.
Right. Judy?
Hi, this is Judy Boone. I'm from Berea, Ohio. I don't have a fancy picture to put up or video, so you're probably better off looking at the blank screen. So hopefully we have a good meeting, and we're glad you're all here.
All right. Rachel? Rachel?
I think Rachel said she couldn't make it.
Oh.
Hey guys. I can't tell if I'm muted or not. Anyway, Rachel Vest here, Outgoing Director. It has been my honor to serve and support ASCA for the last 6 years, and looking forward to some downtime and a great meeting tonight. Thanks everyone for coming.
All right. Thanks. Rick?
I know Rick was having a little bit of issues trying to get in.
Oh, no. Okay. Warren?
Hi, I'm Warren Evans, and I'm from Portland, Maine. I did not have the honor of being elected to the board, but I hope that you can place your trust in me. The board picked me as I'm not sure exact word, but a fill-in. I have a finance background, and I'm trying to focus on the finances for ASCA, coincidentally at a very interesting time financially. So it's been great being on the board. I can't say enough about my fellow board members, and I'm looking forward to another year.
Thanks, Warren. So, like I said, I'm Liz Busquets, and I'm in Georgia, and I'm always available. I get plenty of emails and communications from members all the time, so you're welcome to do that too. I would like to maybe let Ray say hi, so that in case there are some members here new that don't know who Ray is.
Hello, everyone. Name's Ray Fryer, office manager for ASCA. Always enjoyed hearing from members. If there's ever anything that you have any questions or concerns on, please feel free to give me a call up or an email, and we'll see what we can get done for you.
Thanks, Ray. And then there's Scala, who without her, we will be completely lost. Say hi, Carla.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. We really appreciate it. It's a pleasure to deal with this board and with all of you guys. So thank you for your involvement.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming. So we're just, after all these introductions, I think we better just get going and go down the agenda. I would like to remind everybody of how we're going to be doing this, so that it's a little bit organized. As we go through the different topics, if you have a question or a comment and you want to be acknowledged and be able to speak, please put it on the chat so that I can see it, and then I can call on you, okay? With this many people, I may lose track a little bit. I may have to spend some time looking and scrolling through the chat. So don't be surprised if I do. Also, a warning, I am a little bit sick, and I may lose my voice. I'm not sure. And I may cough and whatever. So if I disappear from the screen, you know why that is. So, okay. So the first item here is the summary of the 2019 meeting. Carla?
Okay, thank you, Liz. Last year's membership meeting was held on Wednesday, November 6th in Bakersfield, California. Present were 9 directors, 2 incoming directors, and 62 members. President Busquets called the meeting to order at 7:15 p.m. and we started off with introductions, the official announcement of the 2019 board election results, and a summary of the 2018 meeting. President Busquets gave a refresher on our responsibilities regarding ASCA's dog aggression rules and the conflict resolution protocol. The random draw of eligible judges for the 2021 Stockdog finals was conducted. Treasurer Roberts gave an update on ASCA's financial status. System Liaison Vest updated the membership on the status of the computer system upgrade. Chairs and appointed representatives gave their committee's annual report to the membership. We also heard a report from the Aussie Rescue representative. No old business was brought forward. New business was concerns were shared about hosting the Nationals in the same location each year, and there was a discussion about site suitability. Several announcements were made, and the meeting was adjourned at 8:45 p.m. Thank you.
Thanks, Carla. So the next item on our agenda is a discussion of the national specialty sites. I know that, you know, many members have been not happy with the idea that we chose to have it in Texas for the next 3 years. And there are tons of questions about the sites and how we choose the sites and all of that, which we have tried to answer through several communications with the membership. And plus also you have access to all the discussions that we've had during meetings. We are exploring a couple of sites in Nebraska, and I think that Denise would like to present at least some info about what she has seen there since she just visited the sites. Denise?
Okay, so on our road trip, we went down to visit Fauner Park, which is in Grand Island, Nebraska. It's a beautiful facility. Everything is covered. They have lots of space, several buildings. The biggest problem that we will have is financial. These facilities are that are completely covered with whether it's a single roof or whether it's several buildings, which Fauner Park is. They're all in a row. You can actually go from building to building without having to go outside, I think, in most of them. The stock arenas are good. They're nice. They're covered. Agility, I'm thinking, is going to be it's all in one large room. The surface of that would be on mats. They're about 5/8 inch interlocking mats. Conformation is in a large room, lots and lots of space for vendors, lots of electricity. They have 130, I believe, completely full hookup RV spaces. The cost on something like this, if you just call them and give them the information that we started out with, is $85,000 to $95,000 for the time frame that we need it. However, they have a program. The man that I've been talking to, his name is Bill, and he has said that the city of Grand Island has a program called Grow Grand Island, and they would be willing to, he thought, put in about $45,000 to $50,000. I think part of that depends on hotel rooms that ASCA would utilize in their community, but that's where we are now. He's also putting together a bid packet for me, which would include everything that he can think of for it. So he's very excited that we are interested in this. The CFO for their organization called me and asked some questions, and he wanted to be sure that they could make it available to us. So they're very excited about that. So am I. I'm really excited. And most of the letters from people that came into the board mentioned that they wanted it to be in the middle of the country. And I can tell you that Grand Island, Nebraska is about in the middle of the country as it could get. So that's a great location as far as that goes. It's easily accessible from several directions. So the next one I went to see was in Lincoln, Nebraska, about an hour and 20 minutes away. And Chris Churchill met me there, and we went through it. She's been there several times. I've talked to several exhibitors of Aussies who have been to both of these facilities several times, and they really like both of them. So this one is called Lancaster, and I believe Jan Wiesen had been the director that looked at this in the beginning. It's a little bit different type of facility, but it's very nice. Each arena is already set up, stays set up all the time. The agility would be in one large covered arena so it's on a dirt floor, a very well groomed dirt floor. Everything else, of course, would have to be matted. I asked him about food vendors, and she said that each building has a food service, a food vendor in it, little snack bar, and that's no expense to us. They just are there in each one of them. Again, their buildings are very large, very large. So the problem with that, I asked her about the price, and she didn't really give me a price, but she did say that if we can give her an estimate of how many hotel rooms have been used by ASCA nationals in the last 5 years, that the city does add money for that. So I asked her if it would come down to about $45,000, because that's pretty much what I think we talked about using for Texas. And so she says, oh, well, I don't know about that. you know, I haven't seen them come quite that far down. So the bottom line is both of these facilities will work. Both of them are nice. Some parts, some things better about one or than the other. But I think the bottom line will come down to finances. And if ASCA can afford it. I know that they both have a lot of livestock events there. When I talked to Bill about the availability of stock, he said that they have cuttings and reinings all the time there that have, cattle all the time in. So he didn't think that was going to be a problem. And I asked him if he could, while I was there, they were having the Western States reining championship or something. And so he was going to talk to the stock contractor there, see what kind of prices they charge, that sort of thing. So at this point, that's where I am with it. That they were very gracious at both facilities. They both want us to be there. It just, in my estimation, comes down to the expense and if ASCA can afford it or not. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer anything.
Denise, they're asking the exact names of the venues, if you can provide those.
The first one in Grand Island, Nebraska is called Fonner Park. It's Fonner Park. And the other one in Lincoln, Nebraska is called Lancaster Event Center, I believe it is.
What about RV parking?
RV parking at Fonner Park has 130 full hookup with sewer, electric, and water, just adjacent across the field from the facility. And it's on I believe it was a grassy dirt type of field.
Okay, so a reminder to please use the chat if you have questions. Otherwise, we're gonna have a big, I won't be able to keep up with everybody. So the question of what year are we looking at for these two sites? It will have to be 2024, since we already contracted for Texas for 21, 22, and 23. They're asking what are the closest bigger airports.
So the airports that Lincoln, Nebraska has a regional, I guess, airport that has some good size flights that come in that could bring dogs. And I thought the other one he said was Omaha. And then Fonner Park is about an hour and a half away for us. Use the same airports. I don't know what as far as the Lancaster facility, they said that they have RV parking. They're working on them. They had several, but they only had water and electricity. But they also have just like we always have, a dump truck that comes around. So that would be, yeah.
So they're asking also if we already know about the hotels and stuff like that. I don't know if we have gotten that far, but.
Well, I have a whole list of hotels, but before, and that's on my list of things to do, is to call them. They're all nationally known hotels that are in Fonner Park has. Let me look at my notes here. They have a lot of hotels that everybody knows about, but I don't know what their pet policies are, and that's something that I would, I mainly wanted to see both of the facilities and see if they would both really fit the bill. It's hard to see, everything looks good on paper, and then you get there and a lot of times there's a problem. But I really do believe that both of these would be able to work. There were several, the Lancaster, I think, had several meeting rooms that we could use. I'm sure that I can't remember about Honor Park. I know they have to have meeting rooms, but I just don't recall exactly where they are. They're all on site. It's just that I don't remember which ones they are. Let's see. There was something else. Is there
I know
anything else?
they're asking about the you said the Groom dirt for agility, and I guess Christina answered the hard packed dirt.
Yes, it's hard packed dirt. They can groom those arenas however a person needs them. They have all different kinds of dirt that they put in them for different different events. But so they can pack it hard and just smooth the top off. So I wasn't sure because I don't do, California doesn't do agility out indoors. And so I've talked to some people that do run them about mats versus dirt. And several of the people have said, well, I like this better than that. One likes mats better because they're cleaner. And the entire floor is consistent. Some of them say that they like dirt better because they feel that maybe it's a little better footing, depending on how it's presented. So I know that one of the judges that I talked to, Rick Pittman, has judged, he's judged on all different surfaces around over the years. And his comment was, Aussies are smart dogs, and once they've been on the surface, they learn to compensate and to work with that surface. So the rally on the screen here says rally and obedience facility. Both of those would be a matted floor. At one facility, all four rings would be in one room, and in the other facility, that they would be 2 rings of one in one room and 2 rings in another. Very similar to how the other shows that use the facilities set it up.
All right, so I think the bottom line is that there is still quite a bit of research that we have to do. The livestock, the price for everything, and so this is just the preliminary information that Denise has been able to get for us, thankfully, because we would have done this a long time ago, but with the travel restrictions, it was impossible.
There are mats, there are stalls available at both facilities. They are set up stalls, and the flooring was, I think one of them was on a concrete floor, the other one, part of them are concrete and part of them are dirt, but the dirt floors are scraped and smooth. It was hard to tell that they were actually dirt floors. They were so smooth. Yeah.
So I think that, like I said, we still have to do plenty of research to be able to know whether the facilities are going to be good or affordable for ASCA. Usually the money is one of the major problems that we have with finding facilities. There are many beautiful facilities out there, but usually they either are not available at the times that we need them, or for the length of time that we need them, or they're just extremely expensive. So anyway, we will keep the membership appraised of what we find out, and we'll keep on trucking. Okay. All right. Thank you, Denise, so much.
Of course. And if anyone has any other questions, they can either text me or email me.
Yes. Thank you.
You bet.
Okay. So the next thing is the draws, and I hope that this works. So I'm gonna put it on share screen, please let me know if you see it. Oh, no. Okay, Kala, it says that you have, that the host has the share screen disabled.
Okay, give me a second to figure that out.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather be, share the screen than just, but if we can't, then I'll just call them out as we get it. What I have here is with these apps with the wheels.
I think it works now.
You see it?
Yes, we do.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so we have here the Stockdog judges who put in their names, and we're gonna draw for the order here. So I'm gonna just start. Okay, so Martin Walter is the first one. Cheryl Paget.
Not yet. Oh, there.
Preston Kisman. Maxine. Rick Harding. It's supposed to get rid of them. Oh, Lord.
No, you have to manually get rid of them. But there's only one left.
I know. It's John. Right? No, Brad. Did we get Brad?
No.
Okay. Hold on a second.
I think Brad and John are left.
Yeah, are left. Yes.
Yeah, both of them are left.
So John is next and Brad is last. So Kala, if you can just very quickly go through them in the order.
Was Martin Walter, Cheryl Paget, Preston Kisman, Maxine Spanevelt, Rick Harden, John Nepper, and Brad Warren.
Okay, so that's Stockdog. So let's go to the Confirmation Nationals judges. The rules is that they have to be 15 senior and 5 approved. There were only 4 approved that applied. So we're gonna draw here for the order for the approved. It's Flo McDaniel. Kelly Gaunt. Yeah. Karen Rosner. Okay. And then the last one will be Brandy. Can you go through that, Carla, real quick?
It was Flo McDaniel, Kelly Gaunt, Karen Ressner, and Brandy.
Very well. Okay, so now we need 15 for the senior breeders. Kelly Sweeney. Terry Kirtley. Belinda Vincent. Linda Harding. Donna Wright. Looks like
Gina.
that was Sharon Sparks, apparently. Susan Rossi. Nanette Newberry. Leslie Sorensen. Terry Burkert. We need 5 more, right, Carla?
I'm sorry, Liz. Hang on a second.
Okay.
I missed after Leslie Sorensen.
Oops.
So I'm just gonna have to check the recording for that one. I'm sorry. What number are we on? 11. I'm sorry. I got a text message that distracted me. I'm sorry.
It was
Okay,
Terry Burkhart.
Terry Burkert, and then Susan Harris.
Thank you.
So we have, okay, so now that you have
Number
that,
12,
how many?
so we need 4 more.
4 more?
Yep.
Lisa Bell. Mary Hellmeister. Glenda Stevenson. Is that it or one more?
One more.
Liz Gibson. All right. If you could call those out, Carla.
Okay, the list I have is Kelly Sweeney, Carrie Kirtley, Melinda Vinson, Linda Harden, Donna Wright, Sharon Sparks, Susan Rossi, Nanette Newberry, Leslie Sorensen, Terry Burkhart, Susan Harris, Lisa C. Bell, Mary Hellmeister, Glenda Stevenson, and Liz Gibson.
Okay, so those were the judges for nationals. There is no draw for the confirmation finals judges. And those are done, you know, depending on the regions that they come from. So this was the nationals confirmation judges draw. Okay, so we're done with the draws. And now we go to Warren for the treasurer's report.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So I hope folks have noticed that we have a treasurer's report that's being published each month in the members section of the ASCA website. If you haven't been getting that, I'm going to review a little bit of that tonight, as we talk about where we stand right now and looking into finalizing 2020 and creating a budget for 2021. If you haven't been looking at the report again in the members section, This was the result of member feedback. Folks really wanted to see a little more detail. We're providing that. If there are questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at any time. At any time. I think I might, I wonder if I can share my screen as well. Let's see if I can do that, and then we can run through the report together. Wasn't expecting to, but it might be a nice feature. Do you think that'll work, Calla?
You should be able to.
All right. Okay, so this is the report for September that is posted to the website, and a couple things of note. We start with a little narrative. We did want to mention we started the new virtual titling program that's in effect right now. We're starting to see revenue. It's not going to make a major change to our operations for this year or next, but it's a wonderful addition. I'm very, very pleased that we were able to get that up and running in such short time. For September, we had a loss just for the month of September, $21,000. That brings us to a total loss for the year of $49,000. That's a lot, but the fourth quarter is usually not our best quarter, so I expect this loss to grow substantially. Program income, this is the money we get from the events, the trials and the shows and all that. That's our weakest revenue compared to last year at this time. We're $150,000 less in program revenue. And the difference between the 150 in missing revenue and the 50K in the overall loss, in most part, is due to some savings that we've instituted. Folks will remember some of the efforts that we took to curtail expenses during the outbreak of the onset of COVID. And while we saved some money, for the most part, we're back up and running at full steam. So expenses are back much closer to normal levels. Talking back about program income again, September showed an increase. This was the first month where we really had a pop. We had $11,000 in program income. That's still $10,000 less than our normal month. Last year through September, we had booked $195,000, and September being the 9th month, that means we did more like $20,000 a month compared to 11. So September is a rebound. We're seeing people going to shows, not at the level they were last year. And we're going to have to take that into account when we build the budget for 2021. Finals fees. So this is another quick way to measure how many people are going to shows, and also another revenue source. And they're very similar. They're running very much lower than historical levels. $4,000 collected year to date. Typical year, we collect close to $30,000 in finals dues. So that's pretty tough. Last year at this point, remember the year starts in June. So we had collected $12,000. So we're substantially behind, and looking at the possibilities for shows, we're probably going to continue to be behind. So we'll use some of 2019's membership dues. We didn't have a finals this year. That's why we're all on Zoom. And so we have that money, about I think it's about 24,000. We have that left over. We're going to use that plus whatever we collect between now and June of 2021, and that will help to defray the cost of the 2021 finals. But based on our projections, it's going to come in substantially less than the actual cost of finals. And you may have heard we took some actions to lower costs, specifically for the Stockdog, and to try to raise revenues in all areas. And that's simply to reflect that we don't have the current revenue to support the size of the event. So projection for full year 2020, before we can really draw a budget for 2021, we got to finish out 2020. Trouble is, we only have 3/4 of the year in the books, 2/3 into the year in the books. So I made a projection. There's some details into it. I encourage you to read it if you're interested in that sort of thing. But essentially, as I said last year, you know, through September, we had run a surplus of 70,000, and that surplus dwindled in the remaining months down to basically break even. So this is where I'm coming to the conclusion that the fourth quarter is not our best. Of course, last year we had finals expenses. We won't have those this year, but many of the other expenses remain. So what I've shown here, we had a 21K loss in September, and I'm showing similar losses for October, November, and December. Interestingly, not much worse than last year because of the savings we expect to reap from holding back on finals and nationals. But putting that to where we are now, if we're at 49,000 as a loss year to date, and we add these other 3 losses, we'll end up at more than 100K loss for the year. 100K would put us on our balance sheet about $400,000 of cash and about 200,000 in so-called liquid investments. If you look at our balance sheet, and I know there were some conversations that I had in email with some folks, cash is truly cash. The investments we have, these are not investments we've made in ASCA. These are things like mutual funds, investments in other companies, simply preservation of capital. My understanding was this money was gathered up over time. We have the intention of doing some work with it. And so right now it's invested in these liquid assets waiting for us to use it. It does tend to grow a little bit when the market goes up. And I guess I'm a little optimistic. I'm assuming the market will go up between now and the end of the year. This last line, PP&E, stands for property, plant, and equipment. So these are the things where we actually invest in ASCA. So if we have machinery, equipment, we have land, and some computers and whatnot, this is where we are right now, and I expect we'll stay about the same. This property, plant, and equipment from an accounting perspective is reduced through depreciation and increased through new acquisitions. In general, it evens out. ASCA hasn't really undertaken major expenditures, so it ends up basically even. So what that shows me is at the end of the year, we're still going to have substantial assets. I feel ASCA is strong. I feel ASCA is in a good position. I feel we're coming up against a very challenging year, but we're well suited to manage through it. And then this last page, I'm not going to go through it, but this is some of the detail of the accounts. And again, that's all on the ASCA.org members only portion of the website. And I want to flip to the budget. Where did I have that? Excuse me for a second. It looks like I've misplaced it. So ASCA budget, trying to keep it high level and just look at a net surplus or net deficit. So as a not-for-profit, we can use the term profit and loss. Technically, we should use the term surplus and deficit. You either make money or you lose it, but surplus and deficit. So we have income or revenue. This is where we were in 2019. We would have expected to grow in 2020. I'm saying we won't. Our projection is substantially less, better than 20% less than 2019. And again, expecting a rebound for 2021, but not complete. Expenses, total expense for 19 at 970. We made a pretty concerted effort to save some expenses this year. Some of you folks know one of the things we did related to the Aussie Times. People said, no, we really want that. So I'm accounting for full expenditures for Aussie Times related things like that. So we will have more expense in 21 than we had in 2020, just simply to service our members in the way that at least my interpretation is what they want. So substantial savings off of 2 years ago, but not enough to get us to break even. One thing I do want to say about this, if I can go back to our balance sheet, property, plant, and equipment, I'm just learning about ASCA, but It turns out, for the most part, when we create new computer systems, such as our website, we in general expense those items. So they don't show up here on the balance sheet. They would show up here in the profit and loss. And year to date, I'll show you the number. We have 116,000 year to date that we've spent on the computer. And a lot of that has to do with actual improvements on trying to get the agility feed to be a little more automated, some other work that we've been doing. And we're just expensing that. And that's because our accountants in the past have advised that that's the way they would like to handle it. I'm an accountant too, and one thing that accountants like to do is argue about numbers. And so I think that's actually wrong. I think we should be known as capitalizing those items. So the 100K that we would spend on computers, I have taken that out of expense. So you can see expenses is much less. And I'm planning, if we spend substantial amounts on computers, that money would come out of our assets right here. And what we would see is, instead of having investments of 212, if we spend 100,000 on the computer, this number would go up to 194, and this number would go down to 112. Our balance sheet would remain whole, but we would move it from investments in some mutual fund to investments in our own system that hopefully can meet the members' needs, maybe generate revenue in the future, and so on. So it could very, very easily be simply an accounting trick to make this year look good. That's not the intent by any means. The intent is to properly take credit for those things that we do that are going to be a long-term benefit to ASCA. But it does have the side effect of showing 2021 as being better than 2020. And I did actually say that in one of the meetings. We have a better bottom line. That's a true statement. But I don't want anyone to get the impression that that's because our operations are suddenly better. So that, I think, is the big parts of what I had. We can check and see if there's any comments. I see some chat stuff. Please tilt your screen so we can see you better. So folks, I work at this screen all day. I have a real, there's things in the way, I'm sorry. No dogs. I will say we had a Zoom chat today, and I was able to show my dog on my screen. It was quite an event. But if there are any other questions, you're very welcome, Mary. And I'm also hiding because I've been afraid of getting my hair cut during COVID, and it looks a little raggedy. So if I stay back further, you won't really be able to see that. But I'll lean forward and smile so Mary can see it. No, seriously, any questions on financials that I can help with? Anything at all?
That's why some of us wear hats, Warren.
I probably should wear a hat because I get the glare from the kitchen. You can't see, the kitchen's right there, and it has all the bright lights. So that's why my face, I don't, if you can see that, it definitely hits my face. Significant reduction in expenses in 2020 since March and COVID. So Sandy, great question. We had a sort of a trough in March and April as COVID was hitting. We took some immediate steps. We lowered staff hours. We canceled one of the Aussie Times printed editions. So we immediately took steps to save money in 2020. So year to date 2020, there have been some savings. We canceled the finals. In many ways, that was simply a public safety issue, but that will result in some savings. Those savings are going to be shown in the next few months, where we don't have director travel, we don't have staff travel, we don't have purchases of the various items that we do there. And yeah, so that's significant. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but I remember thinking somewhere between 15 and 30,000. So that really counts. We also, of course, don't have the outlay of the additional event membership dues known as finals fees. So we saved 25,000 on that. Did we lose money from the cancellation final? Mary, the folks in Georgia, they gave us back our deposit. And in my reading of the contract, they did not have to. And so I was not planning on getting that money. But they absolutely did send us a check, and we got the deposit. And if you look closely at the financial somewhere, there's a minus 5,000 pops up as an expense. So that's really cool. Did we apply for the PPP or the disaster assistance? So Donna, we got a couple things. There was one option for us to get a loan, and that would have been more related to the PPP type aspect where you get the money up front. Oh, Liz has her dog. Oh, sorry. Going back to PPP. We could get the money up front. It may have been forgiven, it may not have, but they would take as collateral all of our assets, and that would completely eliminate the ability for us to get a loan. And one of the things that we are looking at, one of the reasons we have those investment assets, is we are thinking about a new physical building. Not next week or anything, but we didn't want to be tied down to that. We did get payroll assistance from a program in Texas. That was something that the folks local there for keeping people on the job. So we got some help for that. Are we going to have audited statements? Yes. Oh, I feel like I'm supposed to present them right now. I have the book in my other room. So we do have that. I don't know. I'm sorry. Do we normally scan them as a PDF and put them up on the website, or how do we normally present them to people?
How do we normally do that, Carla? Or do we? I just got it in the mail today.
Yeah,
I haven't looked at it.
It just showed up a day or two ago, and they know. As soon as I got it, I remembered. They know that we have to have it in time for the annual membership meeting. So I don't know. Jan, you used to be here. Did we normally just have it available for folks during the meeting? And because this year is so different, we won't have any paper copies for folks.
Yeah, usually it would be available. They can always request it, I believe, from the office, and Ray can verify that. And usually we did a summary of it, and if they wanted all the information, they could get it.
Yeah. So Laura says they're left up front, and I can actually say, Laura, it's just in front of me right now. But I don't think that'll help. I'm gonna say I'll look into it and see the auditors. There is a presumption of how we present it. That's part of the agreement we have with them when they make an audit is who can see it and for what reason. I'll double check, but I'm going to see if it's something that we could just put similar to the treasurer's reports in the members section, and then folks who want it can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. I mean, if we can put it in the member section so that anybody that wants to take a look at it, they can. I think that's the best thing. Like I said, I just got mine this afternoon.
Yeah.
My copy. Yeah.
So I do want to, if I can I take another minute?
Go ahead, and then the next item is yours too, because it's the system liaisons report.
Oh, great. All right, I'll take 2 minutes because I don't have much to say on that. So on the audit, and we had this discussion online with folks who are interested. The audited financials and the way we run the business are on slightly different bases of accounting. There's certain things that we do differently. There's nothing unusual about that. The business office prepares their reports and transactions based on the best way for them to do that. And then the auditors present it in the way that they're required to. It should be noted when we do our 990, that's a tax return, and that's filed on a separate basis as well. And so it's really normal, especially for not-for-profit companies, to have several bases of accounting that we report on. But if you are looking at the audit and you find there's differences and you want some explanation, I'm more than happy to give it. There is an actual reason for each of the deltas, and it's something that that we as accountants go through all the time. So I see no more questions on the financial part, and I will go to the system liaisons report. Oh, wait, with people work from home for months, were there other expenses that were reduced? They actually did not work from home. I think there might have been a little bit of it, but right off quick, they started going back to work. So yeah, things like.
But I'm sorry, Warren, by the time that we actually agreed to, you know, that we were able to actually set them up to work at home, they only did like for a couple of weeks before they were able to go back to the office.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and of course, as you know, each state has its own rules, and in Texas, the rules were left up to the county. In I think it's Brazos County, the rules were such that our folks could go to work as long as their workplace was appropriate, and Ray made sure the workplace was appropriate. So, okay, great. So I will go on system liaisons report. So, you know, Rachel and I talked about this in the summer, and it's her intention, you know, as you know, she's rolling off the board, and she wanted to get me up to speed. I'm still coming up on it. I've been spending a lot of time on the financials with all the things going on. For the system side, I'd like very much, as I said earlier, we have these assets that are set aside. We have a proposal from Inventive to rebuild our platform and structure something for the future so that we can have more growth. I think everybody on the board for sure felt the limitations of the system this summer as we were trying to brainstorm new and different ways to move forward. So that's something that's real. It's something that we should move forward with. At this point, I'm not ready to recommend it. I'm doing work with the committee or select members thereof, and I have been in touch with Inventive, and Ray's been helping me with that. I would like to look at their proposal and probably do a subset of it. They had a complete proposal, well over $300,000. I don't feel like that's in our budget for 2021, but I think a chunk of it may be. And I think we can do something as we're all doing more and more remote work to make the interactions with ASCA systems a little more seamless. So that's where we are on system right now.
Thank you, Warren. I mean, the treasurer's report always wonderful and full of detail. I can't tell you how thankful we are to have you do them, really.
Well, thank you, Liz. I appreciate it.
Okay, so the next item is, okay, so Ann McCabe requested to have some time to speak to the membership and the board about the decision regarding the 2020 finalists. So Ann.
Thank you, Liz. So good evening, members of ASCA and the members of the board. My name is Ann McCabe. I'm a member of the Obedience and Rally Committees, and I am the 2021 Finals and Nationals Obedience Secretary. I want to thank the board for allowing me to speak this evening. I'm addressing you tonight, not as an official representative of either committee, but as a competitor and a concerned ASCA member. I would respectfully request that the board reconsider their decision to not allow 2020 finalists to compete at the 2021 finals. I would like the discussion reopened. I do not think the board was fully aware of the data and financial impact. I am sure we would all just like 2020 to go away, and none of this is fair for anyone, but I feel an effort needs to be made to at least try to allow these teams to compete in finals. The first issue I have is that I do not feel the same accommodations need to be made for all finals. All finals are different. Rally has Agility has 2 finals. Rally has 1 finals. Obedience has 5 finals, etc. The qualifications for all of them are different, so the accommodations certainly can be different as well. I know that the committees worked to come up with plans that worked best for them. I worked on the Obedience Committee's plan. I am the one that would have to implement that plan, and I was comfortable with it. The next issue I think the board did not fully consider was the lack of trials this qualifying year, therefore the lack of finals qualifiers. The obedience finals usually do not fill in a normal year, and they cost way more to put on than is received in entries. Even with the increased entries finals fees, that will not offset the fact that there are going to be far fewer competitors and thus a greater cost to ASCA. For the time period of June 1st, 2019 to October 31st, 2019, last year at this time, there were 49 obedience trials worldwide. During that same time period this year, there have been 13 trials. During that same time period last year, there were 56 rally trials, and this year there have only been 19. Similar numbers are true in Agility and Conformation. There was just a discussion on Facebook this morning about the lack of Agility trials in the entire Southeast for this year. The standings were updated yesterday, and there are currently 4 dogs qualified for Novice Obedience Finals. There is only 1 dog qualified for CDX Finals. Those 2 classes usually fill with 10 entries each. There are no qualifiers right now for the other 3 obedience finals classes. There are only 6 rally qualifiers out of 20 possible, not including alternates. Because of the lack of opportunities to trial so far this qualifying year, I fully expect, if the board's current decision stands, that I could have less than 20 obedience finalists in Bryan. That would certainly make my job easier, but I am advocating for more work for myself because I feel strongly that the result would be more fair and we would have higher caliber finals. The best dogs will not necessarily be there next year if we only have teams from this qualifying year. I urge the board to go back to the committees and request their accommodation plans again, and that you please consider allowing 2020 finalists to compete as part of the 2021 finals. I also urge any member who feels the way I do to contact the board members and the respective committees to have your opinion heard. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Anne, for speaking. And it's obviously that you prepared to speak tonight. I don't know if the board wants to, respond to any of it tonight, but we certainly, depending on what kind of response or whatever, I guess the board would have to discuss whether it wants to rework the decision or not. As always, we welcome the members to go ahead and send us your thoughts on it. When this was going on, we had a few letters trickle in, but not a lot. So if we can get, if more people are interested in this, then I urge you to communicate, and then we'll see what happens. Okay. Thank you. All right. So the next thing is the committee reports, and that will be sent to, as always, to our executive secretary, Kala Jacob. All information or comments, questions that the membership has for the board should go through Kala, and Kala pretty quickly, puts them all together and sends it to us. So it should go through her. That's the only way to make sure that it doesn't get lost, to be totally honest. Thank you, Carla. She just put the email address on the chat. Okay. All right. So the next thing is our committee reports. And so I will start with Aussie Rescue and Placement Helpline. I'm not sure who is doing that report.
That would be Crystal Aguilar. I think I see her here.
Okay. Go ahead, Crystal.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, good evening, everyone. My name is Crystal Aguilar, and I am on the board of directors for the Aussie Rescue and Placement Helpline, and I've been asked to provide this report to the general membership. For over 28 years, Aussie Rescue and Placement Helpline has been dedicated to helping Australian Shepherds in need. We are proud to be the official rescue of ASCA. Dogs come into our programs for many sources, including privates and shelters. All dogs entering the ARF program are brought up to whatever work is needed, including care for any special health needs. They remain in foster care for at least 2 weeks so we can get an idea of what type of home that they will need. Potential homes are carefully screened. Financially, ARF relies on the generosity of our donors, both directly and through our fundraising efforts, as many of the dogs entering our program require care that exceeds the $300 adoption fee that we earn. Thanks to the support of so many, we continue to meet the challenge of rising costs. ARF not only offers support for new adopters, we often counsel owners in hopes of keeping their Aussies in the home. Another important service is providing a safety net for dogs we have placed in the event there might be a life-changing circumstance in their adoptive homes. Any returning dogs receive a thorough vet check with any medical needs brought up to date before they go to a new home. Because of generous donations, we were able to help a number of special needs dogs. Last year saw 122 new dogs taken in with 128 adoptions. 5 dogs, unfortunately, were euthanized. Our volunteers are a dedicated group who support one another as well as the dogs in their care. From evaluation to transporting and fostering, administrative tasks such as processing applications from a potential adopter and record keeping. Our volunteers are the backbone of the organization. Without volunteers, we could not rescue the Aussies who need it the most. The Aussies need you all. We'd love to have you join us. ARF, its board of directors, its volunteers, and the Aussies, thank you most sincerely for your support. Respectfully, Kay Marks, President of ARF. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal, and thank Kay for us.
I will. Thank you.
Okay, agility.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oops. Can you hear me now? I'm not sure if I get this muted or unmuted.
I can hear you, Jan.
Okay. All right. I'm the chair of the Agility Committee, and I'm going to give the report. The report goes from June 1st, 2019 to May 31st, 2020. I think it's going to look worse next year because we're going to lose all the summer trials that we had. This year, the combination between 2019 and 2020, we've had only 3 less trials, but 358 dogs less had showed in those trials. We also had a loss of Aussies, which had 603 less titles, and other breeds had 453 less titles. Again, I think it's going to look worse next year because of all the summer shows that got canceled, but we didn't do too bad between June and May of this year. We had some motions that went on. We streamlined the training in the ring and the max time frame to be 1 time. So it's easier for the timer. They don't have to worry. The judge puts in the time for the longest dog of the class plus 6 seconds. And the timer doesn't have to try to figure out, okay, they're training or they have a toy or whatever. The buzzer will go off when the time happens and then they leave the ring. We've also streamlined the fact that the judge gives one yardage, gives the yardage in one time for the scorekeeper, and then she puts it in the computer, she puts it in the computer, and it calculates all the times. So the judge doesn't have to do 19, 20 times for each class. We also took and streamlined the rules of who can trial under a judge. Was kind of, we put it in line with everybody else's programs. We added the things that the other programs had that we didn't, like stepchildren, grandfathers, grandparents, stuff like that. We did the rules for the selecting national judges this year. And during COVID, we allow leashes to be worn or in the pocket. And for 2.5 months, we worked on trying to put together a virtual agility program. And as hard as we worked, it just couldn't happen. There were just too many complications. We just couldn't make it happen. And also to end up, we approved 1 apprentice judge, 2 apprentice course reviewers, and 1 of those apprentice course reviewers has become a full-time course reviewers. So that's what we did for last year.
Thank you, Jan. Conformation.
There we go. Hey, I figured out how to unmute myself. The confirmation program had 495 shows from June 1st, 2019 to May 31st, 2020, before the shows were shut down due to the pandemic. During this time frame, we had 21 new altered champions and 146 new intact champions. Congratulations to all of those champions. Now for some not so good news. Due to the pandemic, many shows were canceled. In March 2020, we lost 53 shows. In April 2020, we lost 46 shows. And in May 2020, we lost 73 shows. That was a great deal of lost revenue to our affiliates and to ASCA. The CC hopes, as the country slowly opens back up, that more shows will be allowed, especially in Canada and our European affiliates. But please remember that all city, county, state, country guidelines are there for our protection and need to be adhered to. The CC gave confirmation show suggestions to the ASCA Board of Directors, which were incorporated in the ASCA COVID-19 guidelines, which we hope all affiliates are following. I have found one of the best items is the entrance and exit gates. This really helps to keep the group down, cut down on groups by the ring entrance. It really does help. The CC also wishes to remind all confirmation competitors that the new ASCA Supreme Championship program will come online on June 1st, 2021. This is an innovative program that will help our competitors, or that will give our competitors a way to continue to show their champions with their continued entries will bring more income to our affiliate clubs. The CC wishes all the best with this new program. I wonder who will be the first ASCA Supreme Champion in ASCA history. The CC is saddened that we are not in Georgia visiting with all of our friends. We miss you all and enjoying ASCA at its best. Hopefully we will see you all in Texas in 2021.
Thanks, Liz. Duck jumping.
Hello, this is Heidi Mobley with the Dock Jumping Committee. We are working on a couple of things. One is we're talking about nationals and what exactly needs to be added to nationals concerning dock jumping. The other item that we are currently looking at is recalculating the point in some of the divisions to make it even out a little bit more. Otherwise, we've been pretty quiet.
Okay, thanks, Heidi. Hall of Fame.
Hi, this is Christina Churchill. I'm the Hall of Fame chairperson. We are currently working on some new Hall of Fame titles. Hopefully by the end of this year, we will have in place to present to the board Hall of Fame Stockdog, Hall of Fame, Confirmation, and Award of Excellence programs. That's about what all we've been doing. It's been really hard. It's hard to take a look at the programs that existed prior and to maybe change them to a point to where we can have a versatility hall of fame, and also have Stockdog and Confirmation, agility, obedience, rally, Hall of Fame, and or Award of Excellences. So we are still working on this program. I'm hopefully that we get it to the board by the end of December. If there's any questions, please feel free to email me. We also have plenty of people that we would like to have come on to help us with our goal of getting this program completed and finished.
Thanks, Christina. Next one is the junior committee.
It did not look like Andrea was going to be able to make it. So Denise, did you have that report? Denise, you're muted if you're trying to talk.
I know. I got it now. Sorry. Yes, Andrea has to work evenings now during this COVID time. So she sent me the junior report. Good evening, membership. The junior committee got right to work after nationals on several items. One was to clarify a few of the rules with better definitions to avoid future confusion. We also put a few motions forward to complete the revisions of our junior judges approval process. Unfortunately, due to the computer programs problems and discovering new hurdles, we were not able to get those motions moved through yet. However, I do feel that we are very close to resubmitting those for approval to the board for the end of 2020. Another big project that we worked on was the revising of the junior stock program. A few of the committee members worked with Ray from the office and the board member, Rachel Vest, to adjust the current program to something that should make a better program in the future for juniors who are wanting to compete in the stock classes and MVJ. We are also hoping for a 500 club stock program to come out of this as well. For those who are curious about the other programs, we feel that if we can get the stock program implemented and working, it will lend itself to building the other programs quicker. The agility committee is already working. It's already on board to help us with this project as well. The new stock program will hopefully be going to the board for review before the end of 2020. We are very sorry that the Nationals 2020 had to be canceled for many reasons. However, we understand that the board had to make that call and that they did so for many reasons. I am sure it wasn't an easy decision. We had planned with the host club for a great event with the juniors and the dock diving with their dogs. Unfortunately, 2021 is not able to take on these plans, but we're keeping the idea around in case we can bring it back for 2022. We would like to congratulate all of our juniors on all of their hard work during the 2019 through 2020 merit year in all of the programs of ASCA. We understand that the pandemic has made things very hard for our juniors, both with their dogs and even more so with schooling. And hopefully once things get back to quote normal, unquote, we can get back to where we were. We commend you all and your parents for making the best of this difficult time. Thank you so much on behalf of the ASCA Junior Committee. Submitted from Andrea Bear. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Denise, and thank Andrea for the report, please.
You bet.
Okay, so legislative.
We may not have a report from them. I don't know if Susan is here.
Okay, so we'll go on. Most versatile Aussie.
Unmute Renee.
Sorry, guys, I lost my screen for a second. Okay, I am no longer the chairman of the committee. Janet Colby has stepped up to be our new chairman. Thank you so much, Janet. Work has just gotten to be a bit much for me. First of all, I'd really like to thank everyone on the committee. What canceling nationals has kind of done for us this year is given us the opportunity to think through the MBA competition rules. For several years, we've talked about putting together a new scoring system. We wanted to make it simpler and also reward the teams that did broader scope work at the various levels that they were competing at. So what we've done lately is we've built a couple test models. We're working through those scoring systems. We're currently talking through rewarding the stock work at a higher rate. Let's see, historically, stock work accounted for approximately 15% of the total possible points that you could earn during the competition. We'd like to bump that up to 25 to 30%. Most of us on the committee, our breed is a working breed, and we should reward the teams who can work consistently on all three types of livestock. In the past, we've used the highest score and then awarded 5 points for additional cues. And sometimes the data was showing us that at times, cumulatively lower scoring teams could do better than teams that were actually scoring higher, just depending on what that highest score was. So we're working through these models where we can reward teams for the work that they've actually done. Every score is going to count. And so we're just trying to work our way through a system to do that. And not rely on just the extra 5-point cues that everyone's been used to for the last few years. We want to make sure that it's fair. We want to make sure that we weight each companion event or venue appropriately. And so, as you can imagine, with some of us that are on this committee, there's been a lot of discussion around how we feel about each event and how they should be scored. So I think we're getting closer to having a consensus on our committee. And then of course, those of you on the other committees, Rally, Obedience, Stock, Agility, once we get our act together and we've got everything kind of put together from our viewpoint, then we'll present it to you and kind of let you ask questions and pick it apart. First and foremost, we'd really like to encourage anybody who is interested in the versatility program or the versatility competition for nationals. If you'd like to help us, if you'd like to be part of this committee, we'd love your help. We know there are some folks out there that have some great dogs, you know how to train a lot of different things. We'd really appreciate your viewpoint and input. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee, and please thank the committee for the hard work. Okay, Obedience.
Hi, can you hear me? Yeah?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. I'm Betsy Coleman. I'm the Obedience Committee Chairperson. I'd like to first start out by thanking my committee. I work for the State Health Department. I have not been able to put forth the time and effort that I usually do, and my committee members have really stepped up. They're an awesome group of ladies, especially my co-chairs, Marilyn Cherry and Ann McCabe. So thank you both and everybody. The obedience report for June 2019 to May 31st of 2020. There were 228 trials and 413 dogs competing. There were 52 beginner novice titles and 72 CD companion dog titles, 20 CDX titles, 10 ODX, lots of lots of shows, lots of titles, then everything has kind of gone down the toilet, as we all know. We did submit 14 motions to the board that were approved during this time frame. The biggest one of those, I think, being the novice stays have changed to 1 minute sit and 1 minute down each. And our CDX no longer has the out of sight sits and downs. We have pretty much mirrored what AKC does with the command discrimination and stand, stay, get your leash. That has started off. I judged a show just last weekend. It went great. AKC trials here in Utah are still happening. As you know, we've done agility, obedience, rally here in Utah. We follow all of the guidelines and are super safe and careful. So it can be done. I want to encourage the membership that, hey, if you're scared, if you really want to have trials, but you're scared of, you know, the safety precautions, it can be done. It really can. And the obedience committee is here to help and provide any kind of guidance that people need. The June, since from 2020, we have made one rule book change that has been approved by the board that will be implemented in next year's rule book. It's essentially just having the bitches in season align with rallies so that at trials where rally does not allow bitches in season in the warm-up ring, we're essentially changing our verbiage in our rule book to match that so there's no confusion. Another change we're looking to implement and we're hoping the board will pass that's just recently been submitted is to allow a backup judges program. If I'm assigned to judge a trial and I would really like to show my own dog and there happens to be another judge at that trial that is an ASCA judge and is willing to judge my dogs at that trial before the official trial starts, that I'm allowed to show my dogs. This is not for any kind of awards at the actual trial. It's simply for merit awards and titles and finals points. So we're hoping that that passes. The committee has been talking on and off about that for about a year and a half. And we finally got everyone on board. And I think COVID is what really helped push that. The virtual beginner novice program. Wow. You know, our committee just really came through on this one. Sandy Walworth, she developed all the courses. We have different courses for people to use. I've actually judged someone on the beginner novice program once, which is great, but I've judged a handful of rally competitors and it's so exciting to see people embracing this and getting out there and working with their dogs. And for me as a new judge, it's great because I can rewind and watch it again and again, which has been really helpful. But I can't applaud our committee enough. We are a very diverse group of ladies and gentlemen, and we just really embrace that and take advantage of all the different perspectives that come to the committee. So thank you to everyone, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Betsy. Rally?
Okay, I'm unmuted now. I'm Karen Black, and I am the chair of the rally committee. And I just wanted to tell Betsy, thank you for giving rally a little hooray there. I'll talk about the virtual rally here in just a little bit. But in 2020, we had one judge move up to a senior rally judge, one judge move up to a regular judge. We've added 4 new provisional judges, and we have a handful more that are at different stages of the application process. So I think that is good for the program, especially right now with the COVID situation. A lot of clubs are wanting to get started, but they need to have judges in their local area as opposed to being able to fly judges in and put them up in hotels. That's still not real comfortable for a lot of people. So I think the fact that we are continuing to add judges to the rally program, I think that's a big bonus. In January of 2021, this will be a testing year for all ASCA rally judges. It's an odd numbered year, and every odd numbered year in January, the business office will send a letter out to all of the current rally judges to get their education done. So there will be more information on that later, but just giving everybody a heads up that this is a testing year in 2021. As far as motions that we have upcoming, we have one that will be to clarify some of the wording on the pairs class that we debuted at Bakersfield, which was really fun, but we did discover that there were a couple of areas, basically when the teams were handing off and switching places, that we could use some clarification. So we have that going on. In the competition year, just this past one that we finished up, we had 296 rally trials and 943 dogs competing. That was down from the year before, where we had 313 trials. My bigger concern than that short difference in trials is for this year. So far this year, I don't have an exact list, but I went to the event calendar and did a manual look for how many trials we have going on. And so through August, we had like 19 trials. I think that matched up with what Ann had reported. And through the rest of the year so far, there are only 49 trials scheduled. That will be half of the competition year. And if you extrapolate those numbers out to the rest of this competition year, we are really suffering in the number of trials for this year. That feeds into our concern for finals for 2021. And it's just really sad to see. We are starting to see more trials, more rally trials here in Texas. And so I'm hoping that it's going to pick up in other parts of the country as well. But that is a pretty big concern for the program right now. Let's see. And so far there aren't any trials, any rally trials on the calendar for 2021. So, and I know it's still early and people don't always sanction trials real early, but just a note that there's not anything on the calendar that I could find for rally trials in 2021. On a much brighter note, Rally, much like Obedience, jumped in headfirst into this virtual titling program. And we kicked off the virtual novice rally on October 14th. So far, we have 6 people who have virtual rally novice titles, which leads me to begging the board to go ahead and please approve us to add additional levels. We are ready to go. We want to add the levels. We have people who are ready for advanced level now. And I think that this is a really great opportunity to keep people involved in rally and give them a way to compete and keep their skills sharp and practice with young dogs as we try to figure our way through this COVID stuff and get live trials back to going again. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Karen. Set search.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Donna Armstrong. I am working on the Novice Search Committee, and we are starting to go forward again. The committee seems to have taken a COVID vacation, and I'm having trouble getting them back online. We had started, we pretty well finished the novice. That's what everybody wanted to work on first. So we got the, what is the committee? And now we're working on how to put on trial, who can put on a trial, where can we put on a trial, those kind of definitions, the boring stuff that everybody doesn't want to do. And we're going forward with that. We've got about 4 pages of suggestions out to the committee right now, waiting for feedback and discussion. That's about all we've got. We are planning on still putting something forward. We were going to put something forward before COVID at the nationals this year. I've moved that to spring meeting. Hopefully I can give you something enough to vote on to put the program forward. I do not plan on having anything but novice available at first, because until novice is approved, we don't know how we're going to graduate. Karen, if you remember, that's how we did Rally. We put novice forward, got everything started, and then we brought in the more advanced classes. It seemed to work really well. That's about all I have. Hopefully my committee wakes back up and we start again. I would like to interject that I was not excited about the little tiny stipend we get for coming to nationals and the expenses it costs us to come to nationals as a chairman. I think that was not well thought out, and would appreciate having it put back for all the chairmen. If we have to come travel across country to make our meeting, and some of us only come to make our meeting, that gets really expensive. And $200 doesn't even pay a plane fare. So I just want to put my 2 cents in there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Donna. Stockdog. Stockdog.
Dan was supposed to come to give the report, but you know, something may have happened. But I don't think he had anybody lined up to do it in case he didn't.
All right. Then we'll go on. Tracking.
All right, this is Jackie Tinker. I'm reporting for the tracking committee. In the 1920 year, we had 8 tracking tests. Titles received by Aussies, we had 9 TDs, 4 TD2s, 3 TDUs, 1 TDX, and 1 TDX2. Titles by other breeds, we had 1 master tracker, which is cool, 1 TD, 1 TD, 2 TD2s, and 1 TD3. Number of dogs competing last year was 20. We've been working on our new programs and titles to try and encourage more participation in tracking. We created a non-titling introductory program called Tracking Interest Profile. It's not titling, it's just a way to encourage new handlers. You could possibly give this after a clinic or a series of classes to get people interested in tracking. We added a beginner tracking dog title, which is a titling program, and it's a precursor to the TD, TDU, but it's not required to pass in order to get to test at the TD, TDU level. It's about half of the difficulty and length of the TD, TDU program. And then that is just, you know, the TDU is the basic level of tracking, but it requires a great deal of training to get there. So we're hoping by adding that beginner tracking dog, we can get people that are, you know, training for the TD, TDU, but need some experience at a test, and trying to get people in at a lower level. We would definitely like to see more people participating in tracking. Then the advanced level that we created was UTDX, which is our Urban Tracking Dog Excellent Program. It is meant to be able to be done in an urban area and it requires at least 3 different ground types. It's very long, multiple obstacles or multiple objects they have to find. Sorry, I can't think of the right word. And it is a TD, is required to take that test as well. And then the rest of the year, we are working on just updating our rule book, making sure all these new programs and draws and everything are accurate. And then we've got some new programs that we're going to be working on for this year as well. And that is it.
Thank you. All right, so now we have history.
Hello, this is Ann Deshawn, and my voice, as you've known for the last few years, is a mess, so I hope you can hear me and understand me. The History Committee is made up of, I'm the chair, and we have Sunday Miles, Robbie Norman, and Jeannie Joy Hartnagel on the committee. And our liaison is Jean Roberts. This year we considered a number of ASCA members for the ASCA Lifetime Achievement Award, and the committee considers member suggestions and looks at breeding programs, breed support, ASCA service achievements. And we make recommendations to the board and they vote on our recommendation. Our mission statement is the mission of the History Committee is to preserve, protect, and document the heritage of ASCA and the Australian Shepherd. And the committee is also responsible for the recommendation of the ASCA Lifetime Achievement Award participant each year. And this is a pleasure to announce, but our 2020 recommendation for the Lifetime Achievement Award is Gail Carameligos. She has been an ASCA member since the late 80s. Gail's nomination was for her service to ASCA on the Confirmation Committee and the Breed Standard Review Committee, as well as having given much time to ASCA, to the Confirmation Committee, judge education with Aussie Times articles, and conducting excellent judge education seminars at many nationals for the Confirmation Committee. Gail has been involved with several affiliate clubs in Texas, having founded the East Texas ASC with others 24 years ago. She has helped with the two pre-shows for the ASCA Nationals and has served on several nationals committees. She became an ASCA Breeder Judge in 2001, and reached the Senior Breeder Judge status in 2006. She has traveled the world and the U.S. judging judging Aussies for ASCA and AKC. She has also judged several ASCA Nationals and AKC Nationals. In 2012, Gail's Callisto Kennel achieved ASCA Hall of Fame breeder status. And I'm sure you will join me in congratulating Gail with her 2020 Lifetime Achievement Award. And that will be awarded right after my report by Jean Roberts, so hang on. We have sent 2 ASCA history articles by Jeannie Joy Hartnagel to the Aussie Times, and we plan to provide 2 historical articles each year. We're working on a project to convert many hours of movies and Stockdog trials provided by Nick Davis from 8mm film to digital, and to add that to our ASCA YouTube channel. I reported that last year and I have done nothing about that since then. I'm sorry to say, but I will probably mail those off to the person that's going to work on them for us at the end of this week. We're a small committee of busy people who believe in ASCA's history and the need to keep it before the members. If you would like to join us in our mission, send your resume to Cala, or if you have ideas or nominations for the Lifetime Achievement Award, please reach out to me. Thank you. And now I think Jean's going to take it away and present our award to Gail. And thank you for doing that, Jean.
Are you there, Jean? We cannot hear you, Jean.
Liz, do you happen to have what I sent? Probably not. Well, what we have is what Gail provided to me about her
Okay,
history.
I think, can you hear me now?
There
Yeah,
she is.
yeah.
Yeah, apparently when you're on your phone, the host has to do something very special to allow you to talk. So anyhow, my apologies. And I want to thank you and the committee for your hard work. I really appreciate it. And as everybody knows, the Lifetime Achievement Award is being presented to Gail Karamalagos for this year. I'm sorry we're having to do it virtually as opposed to in person. But know that we sure appreciate everything you've done, Gail, and I hope you're on this call somewhere. Gail's involvement in ASCA began in 1988 when she purchased an Aussie puppy from a rancher, and then a year later she purchased her first Conformation bred puppy. Since then, Gail has been an active member of East Tech's ASC for over 24 years, has served on the ASCA Breed Standard Review Committee from 2001 to 2005, has also served on the Conformation Committee numerous times. Her kennel has achieved Hall of Fame in 2012, and in addition to being a senior breeder judge and judging in the U.S. and overseas, Gail has worked diligently to provide education about Aussies, the breed standard, and Conformation ring etiquette and judging. She has held various positions in the planning and hosting of several ASCA national specialties. Gail has served ASCA for over 30 years, and her commitment to the organization and to the Australian Shepherd breed makes this Lifetime Achievement Award a well-deserved recognition. Again, we only wish we could do this in person, but thank you, Gail, for your service and your incredible love for the breed. And just on a personal note, I would like to say that many years ago when I went to the office to be the office manager, I was very fortunate that Gail did not live far from the office because she was just, you know, an immeasurable help to me and the office staff. And I know she continues that to this day, that if anybody needs anything or needs any clarification or help with rules or whatever, not only does she help, you know, newcomers to the breed, she helps our office and our committees. And so it's greatly appreciated. And thank you, Gail. And thank you to the committee for choosing Gail.
I am on the call. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we
There she
can.
is. I just wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, of course, I've known about this for some time, but I just have to say, you know, it's really hard when you just work, you know, for something that you love and that you care about. You just don't. I know I don't really think about it most of the time as being work. I feel like it's more contribution than anything. And I know I'm not the only person. There are so many people in ASCA who work very hard. I mean, we've already heard from the people on the committees and the people on the board. And, you know, there's just so many people who are contributing to this organization and the promotion of this breed that we all love so much. And and so in some ways it's kind of hard to receive an award like this when all you can do is kind of think about everybody else that also deserves it. And so just a big shout out to everybody who worked so hard. I mean, the list is endless. It seriously is endless. And I wish more people would come forward and volunteer their time and efforts. You know, people who I know personally have been competitors for many years, but that's all they do. There's just more to being a part of this organization, and lots of knowledgeable people I think can help. But anyway, just thank you to everybody on the committee, the history committee, the board, and all of you people who are working so hard for ASCA, especially now during this difficult time. And that's about really all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Congratulations. It is well deserved. And, you know, on a personal note, I don't know if you remember, but one of the first contacts that we had with you long time ago was when you saved a puppy that we bred from a bad situation. So thank you. Thank you for, you know,
I had
everything
forgotten
that you
about
do.
that. I
We
had forgotten
haven't.
about that.
So
Oh
anyway,
gosh.
thank you for everything that you have done. It's well deserved.
Thank you.
All right. So I understand that Dan was trying to join and he's having some trouble. Dan, are you here?
I'm helping him through text right now. He could maybe be joining in the next like minute, hopefully.
Okay. So I guess we take a little break because I don't really want to go to the next item if Dan is going to give a report. Somebody's saying that I should sing for you guys. I don't think you would want such punishment. Even when my voice is well, you wouldn't want to. I will say this, however. Thank you to all the committees for all the hard work this year. I mean, this has been certainly unprecedented in so many ways. And so I really appreciate all the work that you have put in. You know, the ASCA could not run without you. So I hope that, you know, those committees that need people still are able to go ahead and join the committees and help out in any way they can. Thank you all. And I see Heidi Mobley just put the link to the Lifetime Achievement Award on the chat.
I'm not sure. Dan's having an issue joining.
All right, so I guess we're not gonna have the Stockdog committee report. So we're just gonna go ahead with the agenda. Any unfinished business? Any new business? Heidi, do you want to say something about the virtual titling?
Yes, wanted to let everybody know that with the virtual titling program, we have been up and running for a little over 2 weeks. I wanted to thank the Obedience and Rally Committee. Without them, there's no way we would be able to be up and running as quickly as we were. These ladies are on top of things and always able to get a whole taken care of as fast as I ask them. We've had so far in 2 weeks, 32 entries, 26 are rally and 6 are obedience. We hope to add a couple more levels in the next few weeks. We will start pushing it. We had a couple bugs with the system at the very beginning. We're now ready to go. The judges have been judging and people have been getting their results within 2 to 3 days. So it's gone very well and we hope other people will be interested in joining us.
Thank you, Heidi. So we have a couple of questions here. Are the finals fee increases permanent? I assume that you're talking about the event fees or and not the entry fees. So the answer to that is that, as far as I know, the change is permanent unless, you know, the board at some point in the future decides to change them. They go into effect on June 1st, 2021. And we decided that because we wanted to give time for the affiliates to hopefully recover a little bit. I'm hoping that by June, we're all hoping that by next summer that the situation has improved and we can go back to some sort of normal as far as shows, etc. So it's going to be effective June 1st, 2021. Okay, so somebody wants to bring up agility. So yeah, yes, the board considers this every year. It's part of the recurring items that come up at nationals. The issue with the event fees, right, is at some point, and I forget the year. Kala can guide me through this. I forget the year, but they were higher at some point, and then they were lower for whatever reason, and then and so now we're at a point where the fees are not being enough. Okay, so that's why the board decided to go ahead and increase them. I'm not sure. I mean, the issue with agility, I mean, is that the way that the fees work is that we know that agility is one of the major contributors. Not sure that they will be this year, of course, because everything is some stuff. But agility usually is one of the major contributors. We know that. But we also know that the fees go into a pot. Okay, so the pot is for everybody, for the whole finals, not just for agility. So so that's the way that it has always worked. I don't know any. I have no information about those rosettes for placements or whatever. I think that uh, that will have to be a question for the people who are actually um, planning the event. I have no information. I'm sorry. I have.
Liz, could I speak?
Yeah,
It's
go
Susan
ahead.
Byrne.
Yes, go ahead, Susan.
Thank you. So the first year that I'm aware of, and Chris is correct, that the fees were actually changed in 2012 and became implemented after 2013. That mandatory finals fee, and it's been called by many names, additional event membership dues, mandatory finals fees, however you wish to refer to it, of the 25 cents per run effectively that's paid to the office. When the finals entry fees were at the rate that they have been returned to, 150 per stock, 80 for agility, 75 for confirmation, 75 for obedience, 75 for rally, so forth and so on. There were no mandatory finals fees at that point. So I think it's going to be really interesting in the overall big scheme of things when we return to a previous level of trials and numbers of entries. What's going to really happen when it's going to be kind of like a double whammy, in my opinion. We're not only going to have increased finals fees for entries, we're going, each of us who competes to attempt to make the finals cut, we will be charged, and consequently that affiliate club that is running that trial will be paying ASCA an additional fee, whether it's 25 cents for our non-stock events or I believe it's $1.25 to go up for stock events, if I'm correct. So in the overall long haul, is this really to allow future finals nationals to be able to have a larger budget in order to be able to utilize those fees? And is it only going to be the fees that are captured within that specific show year that will be utilized for finals and nationals? Thank you.
So in the past, I mean, this is, as we know, this is a fluid situation. We can't say, this is going to be written in stone and never will be changed. But the way that the fees have worked is that they all go into a pot and they're usually assigned to that year. Occasionally, we have had some leftover. Not many times, but occasionally we've had some leftover that then can be used, in another year. So basically, that's how it has always worked. I don't know. I mean, we want to think that it's going to be okay next year by the summer. We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, we have no way of knowing exactly what's going to happen. And so the fees, yes, are for finals only, not nationals. So they are assigned specifically for for finals, and not used for nationals. And that is the way that it has always been in the past. I see no indication that is going to happen. But again, this is a fluid situation, and we don't know how it's gonna go. We have no idea how many more shows we're gonna have by the time May 31st comes along. We have no idea, you know, if we're gonna. I mean, it may be that we'll have, you know, a lot of shows starting in March. I don't know. So we'll just have to play by ear, so to speak, and adapt and change as we go. So we'll keep everybody posted, of course. What monies are collected for each event finals? Well, the event dues are, I mean, are the ones that go towards finals. All, you know, Stockdog, Agility, Obedience, Rally, you know, Conformation, they all those events put money into the piggy bank. And Stockdog, I think, pays the highest and will be still paying the highest under this new. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I believe that they have been already published. Kala, has the motion been published already?
No, I didn't publish the exact motion, but the amounts were sent out with the update.
Okay, so they're out there. I assume they were sent to the list and so forth. So they are out there. And like I said, Stockdog is the one that pays the most and will still be paying the most. Can ASCA come up with a policy for a COVID safer plan to continue trials? Well, the problem with that, as we know, is that it's different in every state. Even within a state, there are differences depending on counties and stuff like that. So it's very difficult for us to come up with something that can put everybody under one big umbrella. We have given you the guidelines that we feel that if you follow them, will be good in making the trials and shows as safe as you possibly can have them. And so Heidi has just put the link to the guidelines here on the chat. So how much are the finals run fees for Agility increasing to? I'm assuming you're still talking about the event fees. And like I said, I don't have the numbers right in front of me.
The additional event membership dues fees, is that what you're talking about? So those were raised to, it's going to be $1.25 per entry for Stockdog events and 50 cents per entry for all other program events.
There you go. So yes, an additional quarter. Okay. All right. So I got word that Dan was able to finally join the meeting. So I'm going to allow him to join us and give the report. Dan?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Hi.
Perfect. Hello. I'm sorry for being such a dunce. I've been trying to get on this thing for most of an hour. Cala's been helping me and I finally figured it out. So you can look at a blank screen, but you can listen to my voice. It was interesting looking at the numbers. I was listening to the tail end of that conversation, and you know, I really would like to applaud and thank the board for taking the suggestions that we as a committee had put together after listening to the membership and, you know, trying to find a way to make finals at least break even, if not profitable. And once I started digging into the past 5 years and looking at what was happening, there is no way that we could continue to operate the way that it was operating. We're looking at a deficit of somewhere between, $25,000 to $32,000 a year that ASCA is having to pay. And so, the board gave us a directive and tasked us to find a way to solve that problem. And I'm really proud of everyone for helping and for what we came up with. And, in 2012, prior to 2012, the stock community was paying 50 cents per run. And so when they implemented the 25 cents for everybody and lowered some of the numbers, I wrote a letter to the board at that time, said, please do not lower the stock fees. We are the most expensive program. And, this has been 8 years and the numbers, nothing has changed and everything else has gone up in price. When we put out the idea of raising the per run fee from the stock community, there was not one single person that was adverse to the whole idea. So raising ours by $1 is the largest chunk. Decreasing the number of entries was a huge help, and increasing the entry fees themselves from $60 to $1.50. The fourth recommendation that we made was to increase all other venues from 25 cents to 50 cents, which we thought was fair considering how things have changed over the last 8 years and numbers are changing. So those were our recommendations. The board went ahead and went a little bit deeper and decided to cut the judges from 6 judges to 3. There is a $5,004 savings in doing that. So the numbers do justify the action. And then they went ahead and increased entry fees for everything else. And on the note that I got, it said that was per the Stockdog committee recommendation. We did not recommend that, but we are not opposed to it. It just didn't come from us. So, and we didn't encourage the idea of decreasing the judges, and it could be it is controversial and it may be difficult, but I think we'll figure out a way to do it. And it is actually giving us an opportunity to revisit some of the requirements. So I'm very pleased with the way things have gone and what we've done. I think it's all in all, it's become a very, very positive outcome. It started out a little bit rough, but I'm just super happy. For instance, balance, an average number over the last 5 years has cost ASCA $31,493, and that's been the average. And with the simple proposals that we had, we were going to go from being a negative 32,000 to being a positive 86. With adding the other 5,000 by cutting the judges in half, it takes finals to actually being profitable at 13,649. I did not, and I build all kinds of spreadsheets, but I did not build a spreadsheet for the increase of the other venue fee. So it's going to be significantly higher than that 13,000. And just being able to contribute and work with everybody and get this to where finals isn't a burden and people can stop, cussing under their breath about the cost of finals and the things they'd rather do with the money, I think is a very positive thing. And, the bulk of the expense and the burden is falling on the contestants. But it's inevitably it's a tax, but you have to pay taxes to have the benefits. And I think that by decreasing the number of judges and decreasing the number of entries and increasing other things, I think it was a fair compromise for everyone. So I was super pleased with that. Then I went and looked at, Ray was kind enough to send me the results of, the number of trials that have been held. And, we've been hearing about how everything was just falling apart and numbers were down, and they absolutely are. But stock trials alone in 18 and 19, that year period, there was 389 stock trials. In the year of 19 to 20, we had 395 stock trials. We were actually up, not huge, but we were up, a number that was kind of nice. We were up, it was only a 2% increase, but that's an increase in the number of runs. Now the number of trials, I'm sorry, but the number of dogs was down. It was down significantly, 12%, went from 1,083 to 949 dogs entered. Ranch trials went from 11 in 18-19 to 9. That's not unusual. Ranch trials are hard to find and they come and go. So I didn't see that as being, any kind of a foretelling. Then you go to the farm trials in 1819, they had 75 trials. In 1920, there was 86. So even though the entire latter quarter of ASCA was pretty much shut down, and actually a little deeper than a quarter, still managed to have more trials offered and more opportunities for contestants. The number of dogs entering the farm trials was increased. The number of dogs in the stock trials was decreased. So it makes you wonder what we could have done if COVID hadn't come along and we were able to continue at the rate that we were going. I'm sure these numbers would be significantly larger. So all in all, I think it's been a good year for ASCA, or for the Stockdog community. And I think the opportunities that we've had this past year have been good. Now, this summer it's been a little bit dry. A few of us have managed to get to some trials, but it really depends on where you live, what your local community is allowing and not allowing as to what you can get into. So it may take a little more travel, but there are trials happening. We're reviewing farm trials and ranch trials. It seems like we get way more than we want. We're constantly reviewing them. I would say we're getting about one a week. So that's our only measure of what's happening, because we don't see who's looking for sanctioning on regular stock trials, just the farm and the ranch. So, I going to look at it from a more positive perspective. I'm hoping that by spring, everything is normal's never going to be what it used to be, but I think we're going to be back to being able to go to trials. And I would expect there's going to be just a rush to get as many trials in as we can. And this 20 to 21 year may not be as awful as we're expecting. I'm going to hope so. And I'd rather look at it as a glass half full. So, but that's where the Stockton community's been and what we've been working on. And the committee's been, active. We've got a great group of people, and people are contributing, and we're using the exchange effectively, listening to what the membership wants. And we've got a few things we're looking at right now. There's a push to do some time and point trials, and we're looking at that as a potential program as an addition. But we're being cautious so that we want to make sure about everything and make sure that it's not going to damage what we have. It's not going to be a burden on ASCA. We're playing around with some judges' education ideas that have been kicked about. So we're still working forward, and we're not burying our heads in the sand. We're looking to continue watching the stock program and improve and hopefully increase in numbers as we go along. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. I'm so glad that you were able to join us and give that report. Thank you to you and to the committee. I know that you guys have been working really hard, and so we really appreciate the effort. If there are no more new business or no more announcements, apparently not. So I want to take one. Oh, Betty Jacob has an announcement. Please go ahead, Betty.
Okay. I think I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Betty.
Oh,
Go
okay,
ahead.
awesome. Okay, I don't know how to do this. Okay, this is, hello everyone. Betty Jaco here, the chair for the 2022 Nationals and Finals. First, I want to thank the people who have already volunteered. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Secondly, please consider taking a look at the available positions to see if any would be a good fit for you. Let me know and we can talk about it. I need your help. ASCA needs your help. Thank you. That's it.
Thanks, Betty. Before I ask for a move to adjourn, let me just again thank Rachel for all her work. We'll miss her in the board. I want to thank everybody who has been here at the meeting. I mean, this went really well, considering this is the first time we're trying something like this. So I'm pretty happy that it went well. So thank you so much, and I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I think
Oh,
Ann
no.
DeChant
Yeah,
moved to
and
adjourn.
okay, so Anne has moved to adjourn and is seconded by Christina. So I assume we're all ready to adjourn. Thank you again. We'll see you in Texas.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you
Good
so much
night.
for
Good night,
coming.
everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Board
Bye.
members, don't forget to log into the GoToMeeting.
Yep.